I think you all know about my track record regarding Raycon earbuds at this point, and I think that they don't sound very good because they still give you too much bass, so much so that it muddies up everything. That goes for the E25s and the E55s, though I have had many other issues with them in the past too. However, there's this pair that I actually like after searching their website for some time, and it is one I have absolutely never heard of up until that point. So with that said, introducing the Raycon E85 ANC earbuds, here's why this is Raycon's best and why you probably don't hear enough about them. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we continue, don't forget that I have a Twitch channel that you can go ahead and follow me on for live microphone reviews and much more than that. But you're also going to find my Instagram and a link to the text on the Discord in the description. So come join the community because it is a pretty cool one. We've also opened up a Patreon as of late where if you join, you'll be automatically entered to win one tech gadget every month in our exclusive giveaways. Details to that are going to be down below. Don't forget to check out the description for everything. Now let's get right into the video. Now let's begin with an unboxing. These come in this tiny box which, once opened, you will come across the documentation folder that does come with instructions and even a Raycon sticker. Beyond that, there's going to be the carrying/charging case with the Raycon earbuds inside, and you'll find a box with a USB-C cable for charging. There are also going to be two lanyards. One of them is going to be just of some kind of cloth or fabric, and the other one is going to be a leather lanyard. You're also going to find a bunch of different tips here, both foam and rubber of variant sizes. This is really cool, and no, I'm not being sarcastic here. The exterior design here consists of what is honestly still a pretty strong build, and that's something that I've never really had to complain about regarding their earbud. These also have that AirPods-esque shape to them, which you're not going to find on the rest of their Raycon lineup with ear tips, and yeah, just go ahead and check this out. I mean, these don't have any physical buttons on them of any kind, but instead just use a touch-sensitive surface. Now, this is great, and we will be talking about that some more just a little bit later. But for now, these do come in a variety of colors, and while I did originally want the silver ones, those unfortunately were out of stock, so I did go for the blue ones instead, and honestly, they still look pretty great. I like how these look, and I think that Raycon did a very good job here when it comes to the physical design of these earbuds. So when it comes to comfort, these do come with too many options for you to not be able to find the right fit for yourself. Whether you're more comfortable with the foam ear tips or the rubber ear tips, you got plenty of options here in terms of sizes, and you are going to find your preferred fit. So I found mine, and I find that these are actually pretty damn comfortable. I can wear these for a good amount of time, but naturally with earbuds like these, my ears will eventually get tired after just a couple of hours, but that's still pretty solid if you ask me. I mean, personally, I find that AirPods and the original Hammerhead's True Wireless are like some of the most comfortable fits for my own ears. While these aren't like those necessarily, I am still pretty comfortable and even impressed honestly wearing them. So they did a very good job here actually when it comes to the comfort as well. So when it comes to gestures, you've actually got touch gestures instead of an uncomfortable button to press. So just go ahead and tap once for volume controls. Volume up is going to be on the right and volume down is going to be on the left. There's also going to be a double tap for pausing and unpausing, as well as answering and hanging up phone calls. Triple tap for skipping forward and backwards on each ear, and long press for turning ANC on and off. Yes, these also have active noise canceling, but more on that just a little bit later. Now let's go ahead and talk about that sound quality for a moment. I've reviewed 3 different pairs of Raycon earbuds in the past, and I've always had the same complaint for them sound-wise, that's going to be. And it's that they're all too muddy on the bass, and it screws with the experience of listening and enjoying music with genres that have a lot going on, such as metal, orchestral music, and more specific subgenres also like of metal, such as black metal, death metal, etc. But even with other not so niche genres of music, the muddiness just pushed vocals and other more subtle or softer tones to the very back where they couldn't even be heard all that well. These, unfortunately, are not that different in terms of the sound signature here. I'm gonna get into detail about this right now. If you like metal, then expect a lot of muddiness as per usual, which is a shame for me. But most people don't really listen to metal anyway, and honestly, these are targeted towards the general public, which is perfectly fine. For pop and hip-hop, I thought that these actually sounded pretty good, and depending on the track, you will actually enjoy the very minute subtleties that are perfectly audible and even sound like they've got more presence than what you would expect out of a pair like these. So honestly, they can still sound pretty good depending on the genre. And same goes for jazz and even electronic music, if you're into that. I'm not. However, the soundstage is pretty narrow, but a little bit more wide than the ones on pairs like the E25s and the E55s, that's for sure. These sound better than those pairs, but not by really all that much. Female vocals, I have noticed that they do end up coming across as being pretty tinny, and then male voices actually have decent amount of presence here to them, which tells me that these are actually pretty boosted in the mid-range as well, and not so much on the high end, which would explain that discrepancy there. Now, Raycon earbuds are still not really ideal for genres of music that involve a lot of instruments like I mentioned earlier, because audio separation is not going to be very good here. Most people won't really notice these because, like I said earlier, pop and hip-hop are so very enjoyable with these, same with jazz and genres like that. But I found that almost any other genre was maybe just a little bit too muddy to be enjoyed properly. So I don't like the sound on these for myself again, and I would not use these for really getting the most out of my music listening experience, but I can see how others might disagree with me here on that regard. Now let's talk about ANC. This effect is actually very subtle, and that unless there's noise around you, you won't really even notice that it's on, which is going to be a pretty good thing. I don't feel like these have that cabin pressure effect that you get from other ANC earbuds, which I do very much appreciate. However, that also means that ANC just isn't really quite as effective as they would be on these other pairs. For example, with people speaking next to you, for instance, at a normal volume, you will still be able to hear them. If you have music playing on top of that at a reasonable volume, you will still hear that people are talking next to you, which means that you will also still hear other noise around you, like a train running or a car engine, for instance, and things like that. Like just stronger, more annoying sounds are definitely going to be audible nonetheless. This is better at dealing with white noise, like fan noise, and I've actually found it to be pretty effective for going on walks around the city or the park and things like that. It's not really the most powerful instance of ANC, but I actually really don't mind it because it gets the job done for me. But if you wanted something that would totally cancel out the world around you, then this really isn't the pair for you. But if you wanted something more subtle that wasn't uncomfortable after some time when it came to the cabin pressure effect when active, then this will be a great solution for you. Now, regarding battery life, I found that these are not so great, and in fact fall onto the lower end of things, which is rather disappointing. According to Raycon's website, they are rated for about 6.5 hours per full charge on the buds, but with the case, you actually get a total of 31 hours of listening, so that's about 4 full charges, which does sound pretty good, in fact. But I have found myself actually getting significantly less time, not from the buds themselves. I would say that 6-hour marker is pretty accurate. I don't know what the issue really is here, but it seems like it might just be the case. I don't know if I just got a defective unit or not, but I've noticed that the case lasts maybe around 20 hours for me, really, and that's really more so like a guesstimate. Again, this has been my own experience, and it is very likely that there's just something wrong with my particular unit specifically, so do take that into consideration and take that for what you will. So I think that we're ready to add a conclusion to this whole chapter with the Raycon E85. These are Raycon's best pair of in-ears that they currently sell, as I have tested all of them at this point. They sound better, although just by a little bit. They're more comfortable. They charge wirelessly, by the way, as I actually forgot to mention earlier in the video. They have touch gestures and controls. They feature good battery life according to the website, but not necessarily according to my own experiences. That it is actually likely that I might just have a defective unit or a defective case, I suppose. And also, if you remove one of the buds or if if you just and drop it by accident, well then the music is just going to stop automatically, so no issues there. These feature ANC that also a lot of people would end up enjoying. So yeah, I would say that these have a lot of features. And for $150, I can now understand why they don't promote these nearly as much as they do the E25s. It's because they have earbuds like the E85s that probably wouldn't really stand out, since for a similar price as their competitors, they offer very similar features as well. But the E25s actually offer similar features for about half the price of the competition, and that's easier to promote. It's easier to sell. It's smart on their end, of course, but it is a shame that these don't really get nearly as much attention as I think that they should. I think that they should at least get a little bit of promoting. I don't think I have ever seen any ads in the E85s, because honestly, like, these will be great for the right person. If you like hip-hop, rap, jazz, and other genres like these, then you will like these and might find these to even be the best pair for you. And I am saying that genuinely. But if you listen to literally anything else, you either won't see what's so special about these or will dislike them altogether. I myself stand more so on the side of not really liking how they sound. This pair is not for me, just like any other pair that I have tested from this brand, but this pair in particular does strike me as being better than the rest, and it actually makes it much easier for me to recommend it to people who listen mostly to the genres that I mentioned just earlier. And also, I would like to add that Raycon could still very well make a good case for these if they drop the price to about the same as the E55s at around $120 and make these a much better value that way. Not to mention that I could actually picture many people opting in for these, considering how strong their marketing is for the E25s. They can most certainly spare something like that for the E85s as well, and they can still promote the E25s for what they are, but I think that they really need to bring more attention to this pair, because this is their best pair, and this is objectively speaking, that is. And sorry if I ended up kind of going on a rant there, like most Raycon reviews do, but this is virtually everything that I have to say here. These are decent at $150, but just wait for a sale or a price drop, and then this, well, it pretty much goes for everyone who has their eye on these at the moment. And if you're interested in purchasing these, then I'll be making sure to leave links to the Raycon website down in the description so that you can go ahead and buy them if you are in fact still interested in them. These are not going to be affiliate links, so don't worry about that. However, I would still like to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, which are going to be specifically the tier 3 patrons, or the $10 patrons, which are going to be Saad, Al-Wazel, Joe Moss, and Omar. Thank you so much for all of your support, because it really does go a very long way. And now on to the rest of the tier 2 patrons coming right up. And this is super important. I would just like to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, which are going to be listed right here on the screen. Again, a massive thanks to you all for supporting us to help us create the kind of content that we bring to you on a day-to-day basis. And thank you so much for supporting the Tech Summit podcast as well. And just remember that if you would like to be a part of this community too, and then do make sure to check out the links to our Patreon, where you don't only get bonus episodes of our podcast, but you also get automatically entered into one of our monthly giveaways of a tech product that we have reviewed that is of at least $50 in value or higher. So links to that down below. Don't forget to follow me on the rest of my social media, like my Instagram and my Twitch, in case you're interested in some live streams, or if you want to ask me any questions live, I will be right around there. There's also going to be the Tech Summit Discord, which I do strongly recommend that you join. Links to all of these things are going to be down below. But with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.